Hey everybody, what is going on? My name is Raven, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about Jack the Ripper, the mysterious serial killer. But, it is said we actually know his true identity. So make sure you pay attention. And let me know if you guys agree with this or not. I'm going to be leaving the link of who they say his real identity is in the description. So, we all know Jack the Ripper. He was an unidentified serial killer active in largely impoverished areas around the Whitechapel district of London in 1888. He was known as the Whitechapel Murderer and the Leather Apron. Don't know why they said Leather Apron, but that's just what they were calling him. So, there you go. Now, this man typically went after female prostitutes who lived and worked in the slums of the East End of London. Their throats were cut, so that's how they were killed, cut slit. And then he would basically mutilate their abdomen region. The removal of internal organs from at least 3 of his victims led everyone, including police, to believe that he had surgical knowledge, or at least knew anatomy pretty well. Now, the name Jack the Ripper, I don't know if you guys know this, it was originated in a letter written by an individual claiming to be the murderer and sent his letter to, the media and things like that. The letter is widely believed to be a hoax, but we don't know for sure. There's no proof that it was a fake. There's no proof that it was a hoax. There's no proof that it was real. There's nothing. Nothing. Now, there was a letter received by George Lusk of the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee. The letter was called From Hell. That is what it is, in quotations, from hell. Now, in this letter, what came with a preserved human kidney that was cut in half. Now, it is said that it was actually taken from one of the victims. Police investigated a series of 11 brutal murders in that area. And they were all prostitutes, things like that. Now, I'm going to list 5 of the victims right now. Marianne Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. They are known as Canonical 5. Okay. I don't know why they were called that. If you guys know why, let me know in the comment section. The murders were never solved, and legends surrounding the crimes became a combination of history research, folklore, and pseudo-history. Now, this is traumatizing. Nichols, her last name Nichols, we all know it's Marianne Nichols, had last been seen alive approximately 1 hour before the discovery of her body by Mrs. Emily Holland, with whom she had previously shared a bed at a common lodging house. Her throat was severed by 2 deep cuts, one of which completely severed all the tissue down to the vertebrae. Now that is pretty gruesome as it is, but it gets even worse. Her special region, which is anatomy for her front privates, had been stabbed twice. Now, I don't know why you would do that. There's no reason to do that. And the lower part of her abdomen was partly ripped open by a deep, jagged wound, causing her bowels to protrude. Oh my god. That, if she was alive for that must have been the most painful and gruesome thing that poor woman has ever had to endure. It's said that the wounds on her abdomen and things like that was all caused by the same knife. So the man was using the same knife. 1 week later, Annie Chapman was discovered. I think this one was a bit worse. Her abdomen had been cut entirely open, with a section of the flesh from her stomach being placed upon her left shoulder, and another section of skin and flesh, plus her small intestines, been removed and placed above her right shoulder. Now, it is also said about her autopsy that her uterus and sections of her bladder and her feminine frontal region had been removed. Why would you do this? Why? Just why? Okay? If anyone knows, okay, the picture I see right now, I'm not going to put it on here. It is gruesome. I am not sharing it, no matter what you guys may try to tell me. It is too much because you can actually see all the organs and things like that. There's no coverage. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes were both killed in early morning hours. Not long after that, Stride's body was discovered approximately 1 a.m. The cause was a single cut incision measuring 6 inches across her neck, which had severed her left carotid artery and her trachea before terminating beneath her right jaw. So that's a pretty big cut. The absence of any further mutilations to her body had led to uncertainty as to whether the murder was committed by the Ripper or whether it was just interrupted during the attack. Several witnesses later informed police that they had seen Striding in the company of a man in or close to Burner Street on the evening of the 29th in the early hours of the 30th. So that could have definitely been the Ripper. No one knows for sure, but it definitely seemed as though he had been interrupted or someone was freaking out, but I don't see why they wouldn't have called the police right away. Eddowes' body was found in the city of London 3/4 of an hour after the discovery of Elizabeth Stride. So, I'm sorry about the little laughter I had there, you guys. It's because the first time I tried saying that part, I completely messed it up, and I was laughing about that. Murder is no laughing matter. Her throat was severed and her abdomen ripped open by a long, deep, and jagged wound before intestines had been placed over her right shoulder. Left kidney and the majority of her uterus had been removed, and her face has been disfigured. Her nose severed, her cheek slashed, cuts measuring of 1/4 inch and a half, respectively. I mean, this is quite disgusting. This man really went all out on this poor girl's face. I'm gonna leave kind of the rest of it to your guys' thoughts or looking it up if you really want to. And sections of her ear were recovered later. I don't know why you would take off her ear, or at least part of her ear. I don't know why you would actually do that. Now, man actually did see a man, with the two girls right before the murder. Said that it was a fair-haired man of shabby appearance with a woman who may have been Eddowes. Now, that definitely could have been Jack the Ripper. We don't know. But a shabby man with fair hair doesn't exactly explain a whole lot. Now, poor Mary Jane Kelly. The amount of mutilation and disembowelment of her body, it was horrifying. She was living in a room, and she was found in her room, basically. Her face had been hacked beyond recognition, so you couldn't even recognize the poor woman. Her throat was severed down to her spine, and the abdomen almost emptied of its organs. Her uterus, kidneys, and one of her breasts had been placed beneath her head. Don't know why you would do that. And other viscera from her body placed beside her foot. In the bed and sections of the abdomen and thighs upon the bedside table. Her heart was missing from the crime scene. This is absolutely appalling. These poor women. Now, I'm not condoning prostitution or anything like that, but if you live in an area where you gotta get by and you have to make money, then you kind of gotta do what you gotta do. These women did not ask to be killed. No one does. No innocent person does. Okay? Now, those aren't just the victims. There are other alleged victims as well. I'm not going to go into all their cases or anything like that. It is just disgusting. And if you guys really want to look into it, you can. You can definitely do that. I'm not going to say any more than what I've already said about it. Now, the evidence of the identity of Jack the Ripper himself. DNA evidence has emerged that can identify him. A shawl found by the body of Catherine Eddowes contains forensic stains that have been used to identify the killer as Aaron Kosminski, a 23-year-old barber from Poland. It also suggests that the killer had brown eyes and hair in description that he fit into. He was a Jewish immigrant and had been long linked with the crimes, but this is the first piece of forensic evidence that gives any sort of clear proof as to his identity. Now, the way that they found it was they also used DNA from a living relative of his. Okay? Now, he had been put into an asylum following the alleged murders, so they thought it was him beforehand. But they couldn't prove it. He died young there. I don't know what age. I could do a video about him himself and kind of see what his side of the history says. If you guys want me to do that, let me know. I'm going to put it in my notes here so I can do it for a future episode. I do hope you guys like this long video. I haven't done a long one in a while. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!